Hello, everyone. As usual with the webinar, thank you for joining, and we're going to wait a couple of minutes for everyone to be ready.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
It's 4:01, just another short minute, and we'll get started. Two minutes have passed, so hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this OVH Cloud Veeam for VMware Cloud Director webinar. My name is David. I'm a technical content manager with OVH Cloud. With me today is Laurent.
Hello, everyone. So Laurent Blin, I'm product marketing manager, so managing private cloud solutions globally. And today, more focus on VMware solutions with Veeam.
And Baptiste.
Hi, everyone. I'm Baptiste. I'm from Veeam Software directly, and I work as a pre-sales engineer in charge of all the service providers.
Thank you, Baptiste and Laurent. So today we'll do a quick recap about the migration from Managed vSphere to VCD. Then we'll dig in and talk about Veeam for VCD, quick presentation of the user interface. Baptiste will tell us about the best practice and the design of the offer. Laurent will talk about money because it's very important. And then we'll have an open mic session where you can tell us your best joke and ask us about VCD eventually. So let's get started.
Thank you, David. So if you are here today, it's because you choose the third case. So I would say A, B, C. So it's the third one. And when we discussed about VMware solutions after the Broadcom acquisition in April, we suggested to you the possibility to keep your current environment and optimize this one to manage also the different changes. Another option was to commit to VMware solutions, so the dedicated and managed offers that we have on 1 to 3 years, or engage also with a partner program. And you choose to move maybe a part of all workloads to VCD, so VMware Cloud Director, as an alternative that we provided to you to optimize your pricing and manage the transition. So today we are going to deep dive on this topic. Of course, if there is some questions about the rest, don't hesitate also, but let's do the presentation for VMware Cloud Director. So as a reminder, Managed VMware Cloud Director on OVH Cloud is based on VMware Cloud Foundation. So we are providing and leveraging VCD, which is part of the VMware Cloud Foundation, the 5.2 for people that they are well know, they know the technical part of the product. The second aspect, we are going to provide a guaranteed performance solution on shared hardware. So we keep, in fact, the happiness of the cluster for your virtual machine. We are going to also to keep the fact that you are in the cloud, so you will have the possibility to get shared and elastic resources. So you will have the possibility to add additional resources package with compute and storage, of course. And as we said, for the performance, we are going to maintain also the high availability of the solutions. You know that currently when you manage a cluster, you have to take care also of the hardware. Even if we do a part of the job out of VHCloud, we are going to take care of the host for VMware Cloud Director. This part won't be something that you see. On your side, you will have virtual hosts, and the virtual host is not physical, of course, so you don't have to take care of the hardware. So on the next slide, you will see what is included in VMware Cloud Director and what we are going to develop in the next steps. You can see here that there is a lot of features inside VMware Cloud Director, so a lot of things that you know for the current offers, and some of them that they are going to be developed in our roadmap. So you can see in the middle, in the column in range, data protection as a service, you have Veeam inside of it, and this is a topic that we are going to cover after. All that you have with square in yellow is on the roadmap for the next quarters, maybe years for others, but it's something that we have in our roadmap. On this one, it's important to get back to the beginning of the story. So in March 2024, so as I said just before, we suggested different options for you. We informed you about VCD. We did a webinar in April 2024. And we changed the pricing for regarding the choice that you did in May. You can see that in the middle you have VCD development and migration automation. It's all the stuff that our team are doing to provide the solutions, the new solution VCD for you. So you can see that in the middle there is migration to VCD migration. To VCD, it's just duplicate migration. So to VCD, and we at the beginning the plan was to do that in September, and we are in December, as you know. So the migration is going to start from January for customers. So currently we started the migration, but for internal usage. We have some internal customers that are also consuming VMware solutions. And so we, of course, test before you in production. And we migrated more than 15 environments until now. So all is good. And we have all in green to start the migration. You have to know that we split the migration in different waves regarding the features that you consume. So you can see that there is a table with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line. And in this line, you have the different features that are defining the wave. So the first one is when you don't consume a VMware license, you don't consume the private cloud, private network, VRAC, and you don't use also NSX feature. As soon as we have a Microsoft implementation, we are going to switch to second wave, etc. As you can see here, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate. I will just do a focus on the line 4. When you consume NS6V, we are going to involve our professional services because the migration is a bit different. So we need to engage with them to be sure that we can automate or maybe add some consulting in the journey to manage the migration. At the end, you can see that there is a VCD product announcement. So we provide the solution firstly for you as a current customers, and after we will move to new customers, and the offer will be available for everyone and for new environment. We highlight the fact that before engaging the migration, you have to sign the new term and conditions. I will switch back to this topic just after. So that's what you have in front of you. If we just do a focus about your migration, you will receive an email 2 weeks before each wave as a minimum. So the first wave that we defined just before is going to be engaged via an email that we are going to send the 17th of December. And the migration will start from the middle of January, because we have a freeze period during winter vacations. So after this, we are going to start the migration, and before starting the migration, we send an email 72 hours before the migrations, business hours, and then we execute the migration. The migration will be done online, so the production will be available. But if you know the vMotion that you can do on the virtual machine, it's the same process. So it's important to keep in mind that there is some latency in the middle. So if you have a platform with a lot of transactional workloads, it's important to take care of this platform during the migration to be sure that there is no issue and no impact. The third aspect is at the end, you will receive, of course, a maintenance email, as we do for all maintenance at OVH Cloud. As soon as you have the new platform, so you will have VCD services. So as I said before, you won't have a host. Of course, you are going to consume virtual hosts, which are exactly the same as you get from the presentation in April. You will keep your virtual machine, of course. You will keep also the storage. So we move the storage to VCD, so you will get exactly the storage associated. You will keep also the public IP ranges. And if you need to scale, you will have the possibility to get compute add-on with 16 vCPU and 64 gigabytes of memory as an incremental, so you can get 1, 2, etc. That's the only unit that we are going to provide at the beginning to scale the platform. After this, you can also add a storage with a 1 terabyte incremental with 2 versions, one with the standard and one with the performance, with more performance. After, you will get also the possibility to add other IP ranges. You will have the possibility to add Microsoft licenses, as we do for PCC, for VMware solution that we have from now. And of course, we are going to have a Managed Veeam solution, which is the topic of today. Keep in mind that after the migration, if you use currently Managed Backup, Veeam Managed Backup on the current infrastructure, we are not going to migrate the backup solution. This is why at the end of the maintenance, you will receive this email, and we recommend to use the Veeam solution that we are going to present today, but you have to register and engage with this product, which is what we are going to develop just after. So last slide regarding the process. So I just remind what I said just before. So in the manager, if you haven't did this signature confirmation of the migration, you have to go on the current infrastructure and in the PCC, you will have this model where you can confirm the fact that you want to go to VCD with term and conditions. Why we do that? It's because in April, we were not completely clear about what is inside the product. So when the document that you signed in April was information about the migration, the fact that you are going to get the pricing that you have currently, and now you sign the contract for VCD offer, so you have the different information about the SLA, etc., about the product. So you have to do that, otherwise we don't execute the migration. If you need any more information, don't hesitate to scan the QR code, which is the main web page where you can get all information. In the next days, we are going to add also the package that I mentioned before. So the 16 vCPU and 64 gigabytes package, and also the storage that you will get on this page.
Thank you, Laurent. If you need to scan the QR code again at the end of the session, just feel free to ask. I'll come back to it. But let's dig in Veeam for VCD. So as Laurent said, you may or may not already use a Veeam Managed Backup on a Managed vSphere at OVH Cloud. And when your infrastructure, your platform is migrated to VCD, your backup won't be migrated along. Now, if you need to restore a VM from an existing backup you had in the old platform, that would be a possibility, opening a support ticket and we can release the required file to you. That's not a problem. But going further, from the moment your data is migrated to VCD, there's no protection. You'll have to manually enable Veeam for VCD, and that's what we're going to talk about. So why did we use Veeam for VMware Cloud Director? Well, we used Veeam before. It's a recognized enterprise backup solution. It's robust. It's been working for years for us and for millions of customers in the world. It's simple. If you used Veeam Managed Backup before at OVH Cloud, there's not going to be a lot of change, and we don't want to disrupt your habits and usage. So if we stay with the same software, it's easier for you, and that means less chances of configuring something badly and not securing your data. So we really want your data to be secure. So consistent storage, backup and software and backup software is very important for us. Also, we used to work with Veeam for a long time, and we don't want to drop our partner in the middle of the road. So, it's just being polite. And yeah, familiar look and feel. You used to the lingo, the terminology, what the plugin looks like, what to expect. So again, force of habits. If it works, don't change it. So small changes, though, because we like some small changes to make life easier for you. With Veeam Managed Backup or Managed Backup with Veeam in a vSphere, it could be complex and you could have to make some sacrifices. Okay, the price of the solution was based on the VM size, and then you had to choose a service level that would apply to all the VM in your VDC, in your PCC. So that was some kind of compromise. Either everything was very expensive but very well protected, or everything was at a basic protection, but it was way cheaper. And it was not really ideal for real life. We know in real life you want to really protect very important VM with a lot of retention and high performance storage and stuff like this. And your development doesn't need all that. You don't want to lose your development VM, but if they're not backup as often, or if the restoration is a bit slower, it's not a big deal. So we wanted to give you that option, and that's why we're going to do with Veeam for VCD. Basically, and Laurent will talk about price a bit later, but basically the only choice you will have to make is enable or not Veeam Managed Backup. And then you'll be in complete autonomy to choose where you back up your data, your virtual machine or your vApps or your entire org if you want, and which storage class you're going to use. And the bill at the end of the month is going to be based only on the storage usage and a Veeam license fee depending on the number of VM. Baptiste will tell you a bit more about that. But what's important here is we give you back the autonomy, okay? In Veeam, Managed Backup for Managed vSphere, everything was carved in stone. You choose a service level and then everything is done automatically, but you have no choice and no influence whatsoever. Now we give you back that autonomy. You have multiple class of storage at your disposal. You can use it, you may use it, you may not want to use them. You may want to put everything in bronze or everything is gold, which is the standard, but you may not. So autonomy is back to you. You manage your backup the way you want. We'll run the jobs automatically. That you don't have to do. We still every night run the job automatically for you, but they will be run at the pace you want, with the retention you want, and on the storage you want. So that's very important for us, give you back some autonomy. Baptiste will talk about best practices and the design, and Laurent will talk a bit more about pricing and how to optimize it in a moment. But let's focus on Veeam for VCD. what it's going to look like is very close to what it used to look like in the manager for your Managed vSphere. In your VCD organization, you have and in your manager, you have the list of your VCDs and you'll have the data protection window, okay? Either Managed Backup is enabled or it isn't. If it is enabled, we'll give you access to the 3 classes of storage, and then you can configure your backups and we'll run them for you. If it's not enabled, that Veeam Managed Backup option will just be hidden or unavailable in your VCD user interface. So to enable it, just click on it, click get started, click next, very easy. Choose which VMware Cloud Director organization, that's a mouthful, you want to enable the backup for, and order. There's no fee for ordering, okay? It just says order because that's the manager and that's an order funnel and that's the way the process is, but there's no fee. We'll enable Veeam for your vOrg. We'll put some storage available for you. If you don't use that storage, there's no fee. So my advice is enable it and keep that in mind. What's very important is the VCD user interface. Okay, in the VCD user interface, and I'm sorry this is in French, but it's still a bit being developed, and I'm French, so it's kind of easier for me, and I'm lazy. In the more menu that is at the top right, you'll have a Veeam data protection section, and that's that screen that you see right now. That's what you see. You see your dashboard, what's been protected, how many jobs I've run in the past few hours, last 24 hours, or the last week, and you see your 3 repository, okay? And the amount of storage that you use on that repository. And that's the amount of storage that you're going to be billed for at the end of the month, basically. So that's very important to keep an eye on that dashboard to try and see and predict your bill and calculate your bill. So 3 classes of storage. You also have tasks, and that's where you get to work a bit. You know, you'll have the choice to create tasks, and these backup tasks will define 2 things. They will define the number of retention points and the storage class where your backup will be stored. Okay, and Baptiste will give you tips and tricks to optimize that. But basically here I have a bronze backup job, 14 retention days. So that means every VM that I assign to this backup job, or every VApp or anything that I assign to this backup job will be backed every day for 14 days, and then backups will start rotating. Okay, so I could always restore up to 14 days once per day in the past, and it'll be stored on a bronze class of storage. I could do the same for gold, I could do the same for silver, I can put longer retention, etc., etc. The sky is the limit, okay? Basically, there's no limit that you will achieve, basically, or that you will reach in number of jobs or stuff like this. So, you know, feel free to play around and see and optimize what you can do. To start backupping a VM, for example, while in your data center, list of virtual machine. For each of your VM, you have an action menu, you have your Veeam data protection, and you can add that VM to a particular task that you've created previously. You have the list of your existing tasks, and you choose the one you want. You press add to the task, and done. The next occurrence of the backup, so every night, that VM will be backed. I'll pass the mic to Baptiste, who I've muted before, so yeah, I have to unmute you if I want you to talk, hopefully. I think we have a question in the chat.
Okay, it's fine for me.
Thank you, Baptiste. The floor is yours.
Yep. Hi, everyone. So let's talk about the best practice for the jobs. As David said just before, you are in charge of creating jobs. So you need to know how it works a little bit, so you are not confused once you create at least one job. The retention is defined in the job, and it's the common denominator. So you want to have as less jobs as possible. If you can have like 3 jobs, so 3 retention, it's good. It's really good enough. And then you add inside the jobs as much VM as possible. Keep it very concise, very clean, so it's easier for you to follow up what's wrong with one job, how is my retention, and keep in mind that the retention is in days. So you can have 50 days, 31 days, or you can have even full backups every week for 12 months. Everything is defined in the jobs. Make jobs based on the retention you need, and then put VMs or VApp or your entire VORG inside the job. Try to select dynamic object. If you select VApp directly, you won't have to go back to the job every time you create a new VM. Just put your VM inside the VApp and it will be automatically backup at the next run of the job. In the job, as I said, you have full backups, weekly, monthly, yearly. So probably you don't need to have daily restore point for 1 year. You only want 15 or 30 restore point. And then you have monthly point, which is once a month, and yearly point, which is once a year. So define your retention according to your needs, but don't do daily retention for a year. It makes no sense usually. Last but not least, you have 2 options that you need to understand or at least to know. This is application aware processing. This is a checkbox you can do in your jobs. And it's only for transactional VMs. So you have SQL Server, Active Directory, SharePoint, Exchange, Oracle, Postgre. Once you enable this checkbox only for those VMs, you can do some manual selection only for the VMs with transactional databases inside. It will ensure that the backup is consistent and that your databases will be consistent when you restore, once you restore. The second checkbox is the guest file indexing. It's only for file server. It's only to be able to index all the file server, all the file, and to search by file. But so don't use it if you don't have any file server, because it will just slow down your backups and won't be any useful. Once you define your job, you create your job, as David said, you select the VMs you want, you select the retention you want, then you have to select the storage. And there is 3 classes of storage available in the OVH offer, which are bronze. The first one is bronze. It's local object storage, standard, so standard object storage. Then you have the silver storage classes. It's local object storage, still in standard, but you have a copy to another data center. And to finish, you have the gold offer. It's on the primary data center. You have a copy to a secondary data center, but you have immutability for 14 days on the primary storage. And it's very important to have immutability when you are dealing with production data. Immutability makes the backup non-alterable, read-only, unable to modify anything. So if you get hacked, or if anyone can spoof your account and go into the manager, it cannot delete the backup. So this is the very important part of the gold offer, the immutability to avoid ransomware attack. And also it's stored on performance storage. It's not standard performance storage. It's validated by Veeam. Performance object storage have the Veeam ready program validation, and it's way faster to restore from performance storage in case you have a disaster or you need to have production ready very fast. So keep in mind, production data is gold.
Thank you, Baptiste.
And the last slide is just about restoration, because you do backups because you need to restore. And so there is 2 ways to restore for now. Probably adding more in the future, but you can restore your entire VM. So entire VM to the Cloud Director. You can select in place, so it will just erase, overwrite the current VMs, or you can just do out of place and it will create a new VM. You confirm that everything is working, and then you don't forget to delete the old one. But you can also, if you just need to restore disk, or you need to restore files inside a disk, you can just perform a restore of a VM disk. In that case, you can mount this disk to any VMs, grab the file you need, and then delete the disk. It's faster this way, just to grab a file instead of restoring the whole VM. But remember, it's totally self-service, so it's totally in your hand, the ability to do the restore scenario.
So both configuration and restore is in your hands. We'll manage the infrastructure, run the backup jobs as you've configured them, but ultimately, it's your responsibility. So very good. A lot of granularity, a lot of power back in your hands. And well, personally, I like it, so I hope you do. Laurent is going to talk a bit more about pricing and projection and how it's going to work really for the financial people. And you're muted, Laurent, so let me see if I can do something, or if you're faster than me.
I am faster than you.
You're faster than me.
So really quick, but really important. So the business model of managed Veeam for VCD is as we are going to present here. Don't share the price, the final price, because we have the last pricing committee on our side, but it will be available during the next days. So, but when you are going to choose Veeam solutions, you will have the possibility to select the type of license that you need regarding the size of your virtual machine. And after, you will have also, so not to choose, but you will have the pricing regarding the size of your virtual machine, and also the storage that you selected as you saw just before in the policy that you implement for your jobs. So it's really, let's say, easy. Keep in mind that it's per virtual machine for the Veeam license, and the storage is based on the volume that you consume during the month. So let's say that you have much more volume the tenth of the month, you will be charged regarding the maximum of storage that you will use during the month. So that's we just pick the maximum that you consume during the month to charge you. On the next slide, and also opening some maybe question that you have also regarding the migration, I will just go back to about the VCD migration. So as I said just before, the first migration will be possible and will be managed by OVH Cloud in January. So currently you have you have your platform in production, and maybe you have also on the in this platform some pay-as-you-go services. So for example, if you use Veeam Managed Backup currently, or if you use also some workloads per hour as host, that you could do also, you will receive an invoice at the beginning of February linked to this pay-as-you-go services. For the regarding your IP, so you will also receive an invoice for block of IP associated exactly what you have for PCC, because you carry on using the same IP block. But for the data store and compute and fee that you have for PCC, all of this will be inside the bill, but with €0 at the end of the line. So why we just keep the previous platform inside the bill regarding the history, but we put all of this with the €0. And for the new VCD environment, you will have other line for the host, storage, and fees. And regarding Veeam for VCD that we discussed just before, you will, as soon as you register, you will start having an invoice, of course. So let's say that you do the migration in January, you receive the email about the end of the maintenance. As soon as you receive this one, let's go to protect your environment. So let's configure Veeam solution as we discussed together today. And as soon as you do that, the storage will start being used, and the license of Veeam also. So at the beginning of February, you will receive an invoice. Let's say that you don't activate Veeam during the month of January. Of course, the first bill for Veeam services will start in March if you activate this one in February. You can see also that there is a new invoice for Windows options. If you consume Windows license via or SLA, via the SPLA, you will have the possibility also to get this one, and it will be also a new line in your contract, in your bill regarding Windows consumption. I think we are close to the presentation. We want really to open this presentation with Q&A. It can be regarding directly the migration, regarding the current platform. It can be concerning Veeam, of course, because we have all people around the table to answer to your question also. Maybe just to confirm, can you just maybe confirm that you can ask questions via the questions feature in GoToWebinar?
So while people are typing, just a quick reminder. So the backups are run by OVH Cloud, which is not us, but our colleagues, every day. Okay. There's no configuration for you of the time at which you run the backup. The backups, there's a designated time frame that is in the documentation, I think, and I think it's between midnight and 4 a.m., something like this. But there's a time frame during which backup can run. So that's the part where you don't have any control, because we need to have some sort of control on when we run the backups. So backups run during this time frame. Laurent was talking about the storage use. So remember the screenshot I showed you where you could see the 3 storage classes. That's where you see how much you use, and that counter will be updated as you go. So that will give you an indication of the amount of euros that you're gonna have to pay for it. The prices for different usages of storage classes for Veeam Backup will be communicated in a few days, so you can do the calculation. The fee for the Veeam license for each VM depends on the size. So again, that's a fixed fee that is recurrent every month, so you know what you have, what is due. So it's if you want to estimate how much data you're going to use, Veeam has an excellent backup calculator, free of charge, online. And I think there's a link in the documentation also, but we can add that if it's not. So you basically put the amount of data that you want to back up, specify its virtual machines, set a target potential compression, deduplication, and the daily change rate that you estimate, or that you can already calculate given the size of the source data and the size of the backup. That gives you an idea of the change rate, and it will tell you how much data is going to be used on the target storage. Multiply that by the price per gig, and off you go. You have the amount of your bill. So very predictable pricing, as we like to do it. Laurent said that the VCD upgrades are 2 ways in terms of compute. so vCPUs and memory that you can add to your VCD org, and these resources will be made available to the entire pool that you have in the org. That's the beauty of VCD, you know, the mutualized thing. You add resources and you can use them as you want. With Managed vSphere, you add a host and then you have to set up VM to use that host and manage DRS and manage HI and stuff like this. With VCD, you just get a pool of resources, create VMs, and we do the magic by managing the platform behind it. If it's storage, it's increment of 1 terabyte, pretty straightforward. It's going to be 2 flavors, standard storage and slightly more performant storage. And I'm running out of stuff to tell you, so I don't know. Laurent, Baptiste, anything to add, or we can give back some freedom to these people?
Yeah, I think we covered the main aspect of the migration and also about Veeam. So keep in mind that you will receive an email before the end of the month if you have in the first wave. Otherwise, you will receive an email a minimum 2 weeks before the migration, and the migration will be executed. If you need any more details, of course, you can discuss with your account manager or just create a ticket with the team. You will receive the replay of this session with the useful links. So this is the end of the session. I think we are in December. It's also the good momentum to wish you a good December month, having good times also at the end of the month. Otherwise, see you soon. On my side, it's good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, and looking forward to send you the email with the replay and the useful links. And if you have any comments, feel free to reach out.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.